You can't depend on anybody in this world. And I don't mean that in a pessimistic, negative way. People are friendly people. The world is a good place. I'm sure your friends mean well. What I mean that is, your sense of fulfillment, happiness, and peace should not depend on other people's validation of you. Because if it does, then you will forever be up and down all the time. And it's just not the most peaceful way of living. And if you really want like true self-confidence, then you need to have different values that don't depend on others' validation. You know whose validation you should seek? Yourself, your own validation. Understand throughout your entire life and the future as well. So basically up until this point and everything past this point, there's only one person you're going to be with for that entire duration, and that is yourself. What does that mean? That means that you have to learn how to make yourself happy. You have to learn how to make yourself proud. You have to learn how to respect yourself. If you keep depending on others, well, you're always going to be disappointed. And once again, that doesn't mean people have bad intent. It just means that you need to put yourself before others. Because without your own control of your own self, you can't even be of service to other people. I remember when I was around maybe 20 or 19, I remember being in a college dorm, and I was so high off the validation of women. So high off of it. I really thought I was that guy. I thought I was so cool because on my Snapchat I had like 20 different girls texting me. I was high off of it. And I'm glad I went through the whole experience. It taught me a lot about life and a lot about myself. But I'll tell you right now, what happened is that high eventually came down, like every high does. And I remember I met this one girl. So after being this dude that was meeting a bunch of women, and I'm so happy because I'm getting all these texts from women, and I felt so cool and confident. I was judging my confidence. I was basing it completely off the external validation of other people, and in this case, particularly women in my college. What ended up happening, for those of you who are pretty smart, you probably already guessed it, is I met this one girl, this Italian Puerto Rican girl with green eyes, brown hair, very attractive woman. To this day, I think she's very attractive. Like, I don't know what she looks like anymore, but she did look very attractive. I met this girl, and unlike the rest, she ghosted me. She didn't give me her validation, and it broke my confidence drastically. So much so that after that girl, all those 20 contacts I had, all those girls hitting me up, I lost all of them. Like, literally. Like, I couldn't even... All of a sudden, I'm overthinking what to say. All of a sudden, I'm overthinking myself. I start to feel like I'm not so attractive. I start to not want to go out and talk to people as much. And even when I do, I don't have the confidence like that I used to. I didn't have the swagger that I used to. And this is really what happens to a lot of people. It's like you lose, you get knocked down, you get rejected, and then your swagger, your confidence goes down. And then what happens is you go again and to fight the good fight, but then because your confidence and your swagger is down, you keep losing. It's this vicious negative cycle you could be trapped into. And it all stems from the idea of being obsessed with validation and the idea of being obsessed with the external results. So long story short, that girl basically broke my heart. And it actually is what began this entire journey that I was on in my life from the age of 20 to basically, I feel like I'm kind of past it, but let's just say it was at least an intense 3 to 4 year journey-ish of me learning how to talk to women, me learning how to become more attractive, me learning how to be more charismatic. Like I said, clearly I wasn't that bad if I had 20 girls talking to me. But that one girl shattered my confidence. And I know a lot of you guys can relate. that one relationship, that one thing, that one moment that just made you spiral down. You were good up until this one moment. It all stems from the title of this video, from what I'm trying to teach you guys in this video, which is it doesn't really matter what happens with your results, with the external validation. If you learn how to find confidence from within, you'll always be okay. You'll always be fine. So that's the story. Alright? So really what ended up happening is, because I got burned so bad by the external, I was forced to learn how to find validation from the internal. I was forced to. It took me a while, it took me some years, but I can happily say I'm very confident now, and I don't really need someone's validation to prove that to me. I kind of know. It's a knowing. It's not like a hypothesis. It's a knowing. I know who I am. So now let me tell you guys how you can know who you are, how you can build internal self-confidence and not be obsessed with the validation of others. It starts off with the main concept that I'm teaching in this video, which is you must be attached to your actions and not to the reactions of other people. What does that mean? That means instead of being obsessed with the scale, like the number on your weight scale, become obsessed with what you eat on a daily basis, with how much you walk on a daily basis. Instead of being obsessed with instead of being obsessed with sex, become obsessed with how many girls did you talk to that day? How many times did you push yourself with women? As you can see, this metaphor, this idea applies to everything. Same with the gym. Instead of being obsessed with how you look in the mirror and becoming vain, become obsessed with the numbers you're pushing, with the consistency of how you're doing it, with the minutes in between your sets. Become obsessed with that. The action. You know why? Because you have control over the action. You don't have control over the reaction. And that's why the reaction will always disappoint you, because you won't always get it. So remember, don't depend on others for validation, depend on yourself. And if you guys want to work with me personally, I have been coaching for about, I think like almost 4 years now. Helped a lot of men, probably over 1,000 at least, with their self-confidence, dating, pickup, and overall life improvement, everything. If you want a mentor, link is in my description to work with me personally. Besides that, guys, we'll talk soon. Peace.